gonna fix these just for you. Whoever needs this, you know who you are. All right, we all ready?
Year review. At the start of this year, I took the leap. I left my warehouse job to pursue a career in art. How did I do?
Did her dreams come true, or was it the biggest mistake in her life? More on that right now.
In January of this year, I started my adventure to be a full-time artist. Full-time is code. It means that art is your main gig. It doesn't necessarily mean you're doing 20 hours of art or 80 hours of art. It just means that's your main focus. So I was leaving my steady, almost 8 years job in a warehouse to just make art and try to make money off of that. And let me set the scene. There I was, 3 months ahead of schedule because I had planned on leaving my warehouse job in April. I thought it'd be kind of funny, April 1st, oh, I'm leaving, bye. I was gonna give my 2-week notice so that my last day was on April Fool's. Could have had some fun with that, but I had something come up. It was really more of an opportunity than anything. My old manager would be so proud to hear me call it an opportunity, where if I left in January, I would make almost enough money to cover that 3-month gap. So I just decided, let's do it. Let's leave now. So instead of April, I left in January and I started this adventure. I don't think you need to be 100% ready to do something like this. I think you need to be prepared to face obstacles, but I don't think that's a reason not to do it. You could just go for it. That's what I say. Everybody go. If you want to do art full time, just go for it. Now to preface this, I've talked before how I don't have any dependents. I don't have high expenses. I'm fortunate to be healthy. So I recognize this isn't something everybody can do. But this is my story. This is what happened to me. So I'm going to tell you how it went. This year, I made it 8 months doing full-time art. 8 months. I am actually so proud of that. I was hoping to make it the whole year. I was hoping it would be fine, everything would work out. There's some reasons, some things that contributed to me not making it through December, but I almost made it 9, but we're gonna call it 8 because we're gonna be fair, it wasn't quite 9, it was just almost. What happens in life? Well, my dog needed to go to the vet for her knee. I needed new tires for my car, and I wanted to buy a snowboarding pass so I could hit the slopes with my mom. So I had a lot of expenses come up all at once, so I did one of my favorite life hacks, which was to get temp work. So at the end of 8 months, when I hit that wall, I just got some side jobs to make up that difference. That was really, really frustrating. For 8 months, I was living my absolute fantasy. It almost seemed fake. It was so perfect. I could set my own schedule. I could work in all the ways that I'm the most productive, the most happy. So having to mix up my schedule again and go get additional side jobs to get some more money was frustrating. But that's how it goes. And you know what? That was the happiest 8 months of my life. It was fantastic. 10 out of 10 would do and will do again. So this year I applied to 8 shows and I got into 4, which is pretty good, right? That's okay. But when it's an income, getting paid for half of the things you needed to get paid for, that's a little sketchy. So there's some things I'm gonna do to address that next year. So here are some things that I learned that I'm going to apply to next year. And some of these, or all of them, might be really obvious to you. This is the first time I've ever taken a chance or done anything like this, so it's all news to me. So I'm gonna tell you what I learned. I need to budget in sick days. Now this is beautifully naive of me, I suppose, but I guess I just assumed I would never ever get sick or have any bad days or family emergencies or failed paintings. But we know life doesn't work like that. If you don't plan for sick days, you're still gonna need sick days. And I didn't plan a single one. That was a mistake, that was bad planning. I know now for next year to add in sick days because I'm a human and even if I wanna pretend I'm not sick, that's not always how life goes. Along that note, I am also going to budget in vacation days. I am so far the worst employer I've ever had. I didn't plan any days off. I didn't even specify having weekends off or anything like that. When you are on your own and running your own business, it can be really hard to stop working. it hits 5 p.m. and you have some new things to do. You're on a roll painting, or you want to update your website, stuff like that. And I think it is really important to set aside time where you're not working. It's hard to do because painting is my passion. It's what I love to do. It's what I want to do on my spare time, but I still need rest. Otherwise, you cause all kind of problems. So I need to add in vacation days. Also, something I want to change next year that I was really aware of this year was I had almost no financial buffer. I was only 1 month ahead on expenses this year, and that's not a good way to do it. That's not a great buffer. I was very fortunate that I have a partner where if I got into a pickle, they could spot me rent while I figured that out, but I know that's not everyone's situation, and it's not a great way to go if you don't have some kind of safety net. And that's not what I wanted to do, but since I just kind of took off running earlier than I expected, that's just kind of how it panned out. But next year, I definitely want more of a buffer. If I hadn't had a partner who was able to help spot me, I would have gotten temp work maybe 3 months earlier just to cover my ass. Also, I had 4 art shows that I was expecting to get into that I didn't. It changes so much from year to year. There are shows I had gotten into for several years in a row, and then this year it just didn't happen. I was very naive. I just wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting to get sick or need a day off or miss any shows, but I did. So having half of the income that I had planned for gave me such financial whiplash. So I'm gonna plan next year so that if I don't get into a show, I'm not in huge trouble. And speaking of shows, I'm going to apply to twice as many next year, just in case, because I'm not gonna get into them all. So I'll just cast a wider net, and hopefully that can address that problem. Application fees can get kind of expensive. In fact, there was one show I didn't apply to this year because at the time I didn't have $35 to apply. This year I'm in better shape, so I'll be able to apply to more shows, but it can get really expensive if applications are $15, $30 a pop. So next year we'll be in better shape for that, apply to more shows. And finally, I learned that I can actually do a lot more than I thought I could. I really believe in myself. I have a fair amount of confidence that I can problem solve. I don't think I won't run into problems, except getting sick apparently, but I can make things work out. If something doesn't work, you try something else, you make your way through it. That's part of the fun thing about being able to dive and go head in, because there really is no other option but to succeed. So I found myself doing all kinds of things that maybe I normally wouldn't do, or problem solving that I normally wouldn't think of, just because I had no other choice. I had to make this work. One thing that'll be really great next year is I can afford more inventory. I used to have to order a really small batch of prints, a really small batch of stickers, and then I had to wait for those to sell so I could use that money and then buy a few more stickers, sell that, and then use that money, and it would slowly grow. I can have more inventory now, which is amazing, because when I go to a show, I can be fully stocked up as opposed to just buying as much as I could afford, which sometimes wasn't very much. So next year's gonna be a lot easier that way, and you save more when you buy more in bulk. So that will be awesome. Things are really starting to feel more professional, more official as I make bigger orders and I can buy bulk paper. It's just, it's really exciting to see it grow, even if it's really slow at first. And I'm gonna say that I wanna make it 10 months next year before I do any temp work. I want to go till 12. I don't think it's impossible for me to do 12, but if I hit 10, I'll be super, super proud. This year was constant work, but it was fun. It was satisfying. It's true when they say that even if you're working more hours, if it's for yourself, it's just so much easier. The problems I encountered were very different than other jobs I worked at, because I truly did care about what happened. It was personal. It was meaningful to me. I wanted to do everything I possibly could to make this work. I made a handful of mistakes, but those are an easy fix, and I'm still having a blast. I'm excited to get back to full-time art in January and not have as much temp work, because that schedule is just exhausting. You know, when you're having to go do all these other things, and all I can think about when I'm working is, I want to get back home. I have so many things to do in my studio, but I'm stoked to get back to doing art full-time, having my dream schedule back. It's such a reward. If you want to do art full-time, I believe in you. You might make it 8 months. You might make it 2 months, You might make it 11. You may just skyrocket. Everything might happen for you. But what I found is learning things in real time, it's so much faster and so much more effective. There were things I planned and planned for that never happened. And there are things that happened that I never could have planned for. And I just learned that I can problem solve. I can do this when you really have no other choice. I think you'll be amazed at what you can do. So that's a bunch of the stuff that I learned and ways I'm gonna change it next year. I just have one piece of advice. If you wanna do this, please stay organized. When you're buying things, save that receipt, put it in an Excel sheet, keep it all together, because when you're doing taxes, you're gonna want that. And I know you've heard this before, and I had people tell me, and I'm so glad I listened, just do it. Just take the little bit of time, organize it. Your accountant will love you so much for it. I feel like I could talk about this all day. I'm so excited. This has been such an incredible year. Any of you who have supported me in any way or have been watching, thank you so much. This is absolutely a dream come true. I couldn't have imagined it would feel this good. I knew it would feel right. I just didn't know it would make me feel alive in a whole new way. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Next year's gonna be great. I'm gonna do all kinds of new stuff. And if you're starting a new adventure in January or whenever you're seeing this, I think you'll be really impressed with what you can do. I'll see you later.